Hello everyone, it's Scott and welcome back to another episode of Agrarian Skies 2. So, at the very end of last episode, I had demonstrated how to unlock Applied Engineering, which is the quest tree for AE2. And the way I did that, just as a quick recap, was you have to go through the Storage Wars tree with pretty storage and work your way down to fancy upgrades and control your drawers. And see where it says unlocks 2 quests elsewhere? Well, completing these quests unlocked the beginning of AE2. And so in this episode, I'm going to focus on what do I need to do to get started up to an ME system. So between the end of last episode and this, I've restructured the grinding system. So I built an additional hammerer and sieves. So I now have 3 sieves, 3 hammers. All right, let's review how this thing works. So cobble is being generated from the cobble gen fed through the transfer node with the world interaction upgrade. It's being fed into this hammer where it produces gravel. And then gravel has the option to go up to a sieve or out the back and down to another hammer. And the hammer then takes the gravel and converts it into sand. And the output sand can either go to a sieve or down to a third hammer where the sand gets converted into dust. And then dust is being fed into the automatic sieve where all 3 sieves are feeding into our compact chest. And so this is gathering up all the output of all that sifting, going through the auto packager into this combination chest. So here I have all the different kinds of sand, gravel, and dust, which can then be fed into the back into the smeltery system, where I am now finally producing a fair amount of items. So I still do not have as much iron as I really need, but hopefully that will come soon. So unfortunately, it seems like my big bottleneck right now is actually redstone. So with all this production, I'm only at 6 pieces of redstone. So I'm really lacking flux ducts. So it just seems like Agrarian Skies is missing, well, all sorts of stuff. So we don't have conduit. All those are gone. So that means no RF conduits, and we don't have any kind of RF transfer. I have to go up to this energy transfer node, which is going to be quite expensive right now. So I'm going to put it off, unfortunately. This is something that I'm going to need to come in through the QED, and it's just going to require a tremendous amount of redstone, none of which I am prepared to actually make. So for now, I'm going to have to stick with the flux ducts, which unfortunately the cheapest requires 6 pieces of redstone. Now I was doing a little research here, and in order to make the redstone, there's a couple of options. If I could get redstone ore, which is not going to happen until I can afford a mining laser with a red filter, but yeah, I'm not going to be able to saw down blocks. So then I came over here and thought, oh, well, what the heck is a rhododendron seed? So this appears to be a crop mutation that's brought up through needs redstone ore below. So this is what I thought could have been a potential solution through Agricraft by taking red tulips, daisies. Daisies are made by combining various flowers together. the flowers are just I'm gonna have to start with basically various mutations. So it's gonna be a lot of grinding with AgriCraft before I even get in the position where I can start producing this. So now here's a potential solution. So I'm getting a lot of glowstone dust. So if I were to work with mana infusion through the Botania tree, that might actually work. And I have no idea what I'm not going to be able to do magic bees for a while, I think. It's just, so really for now, I'm just going to have to grind it out of dust, out of this contraption. And unfortunately, I'm going to need more lava. So the lava generator is a extra utilities block that takes lava and produces RF. And as this will burn down, it would normally fill up the RF indicator, but right now it's draining into all the other connected blocks in order to keep everything powered and ticking. So what I'd like to do is expand the crucible network, so that way I can build up more lava going into the lava drums. It's just something that's going to take time, and unfortunately that doesn't work so well with videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a quick cut, and when I get back I should have some more material to get ready on AE2. Okay, I'm back, and I have a few other projects that I was working on in the break. So I decided to do an architecture piece here. I'm going to make a tower up to the sky, kind of mix it up. Instead of going down into the void, I decided I'm going to try going up this game, and at various levels I'm going to put offshoots of rooms that are going to be, let's say, functional rooms. So here I have some Oreberry bushes. So these are an interesting set of things that come in with Tinker's Construct, actually. And you get them by sieving down stone in the sieve. So it'll produce with a 1% chance all of the block types that come with Tinker's Construct. And what I most care about is this chance of iron that's going to produce these Oreberries. And so Oreberries are essentially interchangeable with a nugget, and they'll just grow and grow as long as the light level is dark. And so there's a little bit of a problem here. I don't have a lot of bushes yet to fill in the void. So I'm just going to have to keep a couple of torches in to keep the mobs from spawning here. And yeah, so that should cover this area. So it means I'm going to have to work up to a automatic harvester, something that's going to be able to collect all the berries from all the bushes in what's going to be this 9x9 area. And so eventually I'm going to replant the tree farm up at another level, and then move some of this stuff off the ground floor to make room. So over here, I've just been grinding down various things. I hooked up a stone barrel to the lava network. I added more servos to kind of get everything automated. And here I have almost 256 buckets worth of lava. And so that's going to allow me to set up a couple more lava generators. And then with extra RF power, I can then power more machines to do more sifting, and so on and so forth. So another upgrade I can do to these machines is a fortune upgrade or a speed upgrade. So each one of these upgrades is going to add to the amount of RF consumed. You see that normally they take 6 RF, but adding 2 fortune upgrades now takes 16. So 5 RF per card, and I think I can stack this up to, trying to remember if it's 16 or 64 cards, and then that will increase the probability that I get all the special drops or multiple drops from each sifting action. So that's going to be a target here in the next part. Power levels seem to be okay. Now I did create a new block back here, a solar generator, and what this does is it allows, in the daytime, this is just going to build up a 100,000 buffer and then bleed it off in the nighttime back into the machines. But there's no real, I'm not overtaxing the RF yet, so that's pretty good. So let's take a look at the quest book and go back to applied engineering. So one of the first things I need to do is work on this sky high. So I need to get skystone, which I can get by placing skystone dust into a lava barrel. And so I've conveniently placed it over here, and I've been grinding down dust for quite a while. Let's take a look. Here we go. So skystone dust in a barrel turns into skystone, and I need 4 of these skystone blocks in order to burn them down in a furnace into a skystone brick, or a skystone block rather. So I need a block of 4, which make, actually, let me double check that. Skystone produces, oh, all I need to do is put it in a single furnace. Alright, so single block in a single furnace, I can manage that. So let's just load it up with a little bit of wood. And while that's going, let me try to clear my inventory a little. And done. And my reward is another skystone block. And moving on, I need to gather quartz. So I've been gathering all these things out of the sifting, sieving, and that's my Certus quartz, nether quartz, and charged Certus quartz, which are all random drops. What does the Certus quartz cutting knife do? Alright, so the Certus quartz cutting knife is going to be needed later in the AE2 stack in order to make some basic processors. But it's not that hard to make. It's just sticks, quartz, and an iron ingot. So I'm going to opt for the loot bag. Oh wait, I get both of them. Sorry, after all that. So moving on to growing more quartz. So we're going to need to make some quartz seeds. So from this, we're going to take our quartz dust and throw them into a water source block. So let me quickly craft up something where I can do that. And I'll need my trusty bucket and a water source. So, Certus quartz seed, another quartz seed, Fluix seeds. Alright, so in order to do this, I'm going to need to get a grindstone or a pulverizer. Let's see if I have the materials to make the pulverizer, because I can do all sorts of things with that. So this is going to require some copper gears, a piston and machine frame. The machine frame's not that complicated, just is going to require a lot of pieces. So let's go back here and grab, well, correction, let's go over here and grab the ore that I had pulled out earlier. And let's try to craft up a pulverizer. So I think we're going to need this machine frame. And let's take a look. So I have the tin gear. I'm going to need 4 pieces of iron, and I'm going to run out of glass shortly. Now the pulverizer is also going to need a piston and some more copper gears. The copper, I still have another stash of that up here in this upper chest of combined blocks. So let's take another look. The redstone reception coil, it's not that complicated. It's just a matter of burning redstone. And let's work on the piston. This is going to be from cobblestone, which I'm just completely swimming in cobblestone, yet I don't seem to have enough. Well, that's crazy, but that's life. So let's head back down here. Throw that in. Throw a piece of iron and wood. And do I have any blocks? Of course not. That would have made sense. Okay, and done. 1 piston as I rapidly run out of room in the inventory. Okay, flint, which is pretty easy. That's right over here. And that should do it. Bam, 1 basic pulverizer. So let's put that over here with the other toys. Let's try right here. So we're going to get some RF power, and then we'll load it up with some nether quartz. Great. So let's come over here and throw these in the water. And then while we're at it, let's throw in some Certus quartz dust. And I'm told all I have to do is sit and wait. It's going to be a couple minutes, so I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back when these have turned to seeds. Alright, I'm back, and here are a couple of changes in a little bit of time. Well, at least a day that I've been out trying to grind my way up. So, I messed up the Fluix formula. So it's actually a charged Certus quartz crystal, a nether quartz dust, and a redstone dust to throw together. And so I found that I didn't really have charged Certus quartz dust, because this little item, well, you can charge Certus quartz, which I can't because I don't have an AE system yet to give the AE power, but I can sieve sand, in the sieve system to produce a 1% chance of getting charged Certus quartz. And so that meant I had to build up the crushing system, the hammer and the sieve. And so over here is the new location of the Crusher 2000, let's say. I guess I should call it the 2015 model. So what is happening is that I'm piping cobblestone here into the Java barrel, where it is being transferred through this item duct pipe into 3 separate automatic hammers. And the first wave of hammers produce gravel by crushing down the cobble. Then it gets piped to a second layer where I produce sand, and a third layer which produces dust. And each one of these rises up into a automatic sieve that produces the dust or the sand outputs, and as a result this builds up and everything pipes into this yellow chest. And so here you can see I have quite the amount of drops. It's coming along quite nicely, and what I was finding was that the combiner then takes the powdered dust, or the crushed aluminum, or the crushed or the broken, and then packages them back into sand, dust, and gravel. And then what's important though is that if I just burn them down by themselves, one sand or one gravel produces 2 pieces of ingots, which isn't enough for me. So I have everything from the combiner working through a transfer node. And so these transfer nodes have a filter, and the item filter, is actually somewhat easy to make. It's just redstone, sticks, and string. And what you do is you right click, and then you can place up to 9 items in the filter. And so everything here acts as an ore, so it'll transfer only these types of gravel into the system. And so what you actually have to do is you have to put a filter with another filter and ore them together in a third filter, and then that creates the gateway that allows the transfer nodes to only pass gravel and sand. And so at that point it is transferred into the autonomous activator in this system here, where it is smacked by another autonomous activator, which is powered by a hammer. And so these ex nihilo hammers break the just like manually breaking the sand into dust. So if I go and take a look at the autonomous activator formula, it's made by making tin gears, pistons, chests, and so not that complicated now that I have the metals being mass produced like this. And so as a result, items are then broken and smashed into the glass chamber, where they are transferred and captured by this transfer node, which has a double strength world interaction upgrade, which means it can grab items up to 2 blocks away from this block. So it can grab all the drops that fall into the bottom of the glass area, which then pipes them back out to the yellow chest to be recombined. And so the gravel smashes this to sand parts, which then gets combined and smashed into dust parts and gets combined, and then dumps out into the green chest below, which I can then go through and grab all the dust and basically move them over into the smeltery. So I have quite a lot of iron, and so over here in the smeltery I built up a couple layers using cobblestone. So once you really get the first layer, you can dump cobblestone into the system to produce seared brick. And then more seared brick produces more seared brick. So every level you build up ends up adding, for me, another 8 blocks of smelting capability. And so I am now able to, that was 60 blocks right there. I can smelt all simultaneously, which is just totally awesome. And so that's going to melt and fill up the tank. And right now it is still set up to do automatic pours into ingots, but I added 2 more smeltery drains. So one drain here, if I were to right click, would automatically make a gear, which was how I was able to produce all those tin gears quite easily. And right here it'll dump into a casting basin. And a casting basin basically makes a block of 9 ingots all in one right click. And so that is also useful for making hardened glass. So if I were to take the obsidian and place it into the casting basin and then pour molten lead on top of it, it immediately becomes hardened glass that I can use for more fluid ducts. So now we can see that I have 113 ingots worth of iron. So I can melt some of these down and basically very rapidly produce a lot of Tinker's Construct metals. And so in the process of melting things, I discovered that I was accidentally making inscriber presses. So it turns out that in the AE2 tree, each one of these presses can actually be made by pouring just raw metal onto a casting table with no formula. And so I accidentally dumped some tin out and got an engineering press, and I dumped some copper out and got an inscriber logic press. And so it just looks like the last one I'm going to need is just pour out a little bit of lead, and that would basically complete the 3 types of press, the main presses that I'm going to need for the AE2 inscribers. So I think all I need to do next to expand this is to include another hammerer to break down soul sand, which conveniently is located over here. That all I have to do is pump sand into the upper chest, which now I am gathering quite a lot of. And this contraption will take the sand out of the chest, pump it into the witchwater barrels, and then dump that right here into this chest. So I think what I'm going to do off camera is move this a couple blocks over. I'm going to move this obsidian creating barrel up to the tower, and that way I can automate another level of material gathering. So back to the AE2 system. Alright, so now it's time to grind down the nether quartz into dust. So here is the Applied Energistics Quartz Grindstone. So this is a special block that basically used with just stone, some quartz, and a wooden gear. It's basically a block that acts like a very cheap pulverizer. So all I have to do is right click the crank on top, and that's going to grind down the nether quartz into nether quartz dust. So let's head back over to the water. And so let's grab our pieces. So as we found, we now need to add 1 charged Ceres quartz crystal, 1 nether quartz dust, and a piece of redstone. 1, 2, 3. And a little bit of lightning, and that should combine. Alright, I figured out the problem. It was actually sitting on a half slab underneath the water. Not actually in the water, but underneath it. So 1, 1, 2, 3. And that combines into 2 Fluix crystals. And so, in order to meet the Fluix seed, what I'll need to do is grind down one of the crystals with Fluix into Fluix dust, and then combine that Fluix dust with a piece of sand. So like that, 1 Fluix dust. And let's grab 1 piece of sand. And combine them. Ta-da! Fluix seed, which means I can now complete the Growing More Quartz quest. And with that unlocks 2 more branches, and unfortunately with that I'm going to call this an episode. Thanks for watching and tuning in and watching me struggle through a lot of Agrarian Skies 2. So if you could, please leave a like or a comment. Let me know what I could be doing better. I'd really appreciate it. And with that, I will see you next time on Agrarian Skies 2. Bye.